Welcome. My name is Shawn Jones, and I am the CEO of the iNetrapreneur Network. And today I have with me one of our contributing authors in the next book in the series, Art of Connection. I have Dr. LaWanna Parker. She is an incredible, dynamic individual who helps so many in so many different ways. Dr. Parker, welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here with you today.
So, LaWanna, tell us, I see that you're a journal coach. And there's so many different types of coaches. And coaches, to me, they help guide people. They have the playbooks. They know the ins and the outs. And they teach others the best practice, the best way, the best systems, the best tools to incorporate. Share with us what a journal coach does.
Well, for me, it's a little bit different from what other coaches do. My thing is to help guide you into building on your creativity. You ever talk to someone who says, well, I'm not creative? And they've talked themselves into that because we're all creative, maybe not as good as the next person, but I help you to recognize that. I help you to build on your confidence and also your writing skills. There are many people who talk about they want to write a book, but they don't know how. And through journaling, you'd be surprised at the things that come out of people. And it's a great thing. That's a message I try to share with everyone, and I have to credit my son. And I'll get a little into that later.
So, journaling, there is still somewhat of a mystery. For some, when they hear the word journal, they're thinking, oh no, it's a chore. I have to physically sit down at a certain time and I have to write pages upon pages. I have to put my thoughts, my feelings. I have to share me on paper. For others, they're unfamiliar with journaling and what is the purpose behind journaling. Share with us, is there a right or a wrong way to journal? What are some of the mysteries about journaling that you help others to overcome and to understand the benefits and how you can use journaling to your benefit?
Well, the first thing I let people know is that writing in a journal is solely what comes out of you, whether it's one sentence or 10,000 words, it's up to you. There is no right or wrong way. There's no right or wrong time to journal. It's the individual. What I do is to teach you how to do it where it benefits you. And there are so many ways you can do it nowadays. You used to have to sit down and just write. You no longer have to do that. If you're, for example, you're sitting at work and suddenly something comes to you that you'd like to journal about, but you don't have the journal handy, or you don't want the supervisor seeing you writing in your journal, you can pick up your phone and record it very quickly. And then when you get home, you can transcribe it over to your journal. It's so much easier to journal today than it was yesterday. And the great thing is that scientists have come to the realization of the many benefits that come from journaling. When I started studying into it, I was amazed, to be perfectly truthful, because I hadn't thought about all the things that journaling can help you with. And I share that with my people. And it's a wonderful feeling when I see someone who's coming out of a shell. I'll share a brief story. I have an individual who was feeling really down. COVID had gotten to this person, and they just started feeling like, well, why am I here? I'm alone. There's no one that I can really talk to. And one day she reached out to me. I don't know what made her do it, but I immediately knew that we needed to talk. We have been journaling, and now she is on her way to helping others by putting her thoughts down, and she's going to turn that into a book. There's a great deal that comes out of journaling. I can tell you there's as many types of journaling as there are jobs.
You mentioned there's different types of journaling. And I will be the first to admit, I was opposed to a journal because I thought of a journal like a diary. Trust me, there are some things that roll around in this head that I would not want anybody to know. Gosh forbid, right? They find it in some of your secrets or your viewpoints you just may not want to share. But then a dear friend of mine said, it helps you to visualize, and this is just one way to visualize how you want to design your life. What does that look like for you? And be specific. And I thought, wow, I never really considered designing my life through writing. And it was through that it helped me personally to identify certain types of relationships that I was looking for. How did I want to interact and be engaged in my own family? What did that look like for me as a woman, as an entrepreneur, as a speaker, writer myself? Even down to what does my retirement look like? And it kind of turned out to this like step by step. So what other ways outside of what I described are there for people to understand how to use journaling?
Well, there are many ways, but you said something very interesting, and that you thought of journaling as a diary. Someone once said, a diary is for children, a journal is for adults. The great thing about when you journal is you can put anything on paper that you want. You don't have to keep it. Yeah, I know some people sometimes are concerned that someone may read what they've written and they don't want it written to be read, and I experienced that. But you can destroy it, tear it up into pieces, flush it down the toilet, or burn it. Whatever you want to do, you don't have to hold on to it. But it is so great when you can look back a year from now and say, I am so glad I'm no longer that person. My first book that I wrote came from me journaling because I was going through something that was, for me, was very devastating. Somebody else might say, oh, get over it. But for me, it was devastating. And it was necessary for me to get it out of my head. And I put it on paper. And a few days later, I looked at it and I thought, okay, here's your problem. So what are you going to do about it? So I had to come up with some ways to take care of it. And I did. I came up with steps. And, I reread stuff, not right away, but when I did, I thought, this is a book. I just need to format it and put it in a better form. And it's a book, and that's what I did. So it relieves things.
It does. LaWanna, I love what you said. It relieves. I have known even teenagers. There's a teenager that's really near and dear, and to my heart happens to be one of my own sons. And he has struggled for years with anger. His dad, I married his dad, and he had such anger because of the difference between his biological mom, who's in his life, and then having a stepmom. And he saw differences. So this is through the eyes of a teenager. And he started journaling, because you don't dare not call it a diary, because it's not. But it helped him to work through that anger. And this is, again, just one little aspect. And it was interesting to see where he started in that process. And then it helped him to see the differences and why he was having those struggles in mom and myself. And it helped him to center, it helped him to actually talk to his mom more and say, these are some of the things that are bothering me, and this is why. It gave him confidence. Would you agree that confidence is one of the results you get from journaling?
Absolutely. I have a friend whose son was having difficulty handling. His father was terminally ill, and he knew there was nothing that could be done, but he was having so much difficulty with it. But journaling helped him to get through that. And he eventually wrote a book, and I hope I get the title right. I've just gone blank. It was something through the eyes of a teenager. I forget the exact word, but he wrote a
Mhm.
book on it. And you just don't know how it can help you. I said I was going to mention about my son, which is what got me into doing journaling. I lost my son a few years ago. And when he passed away, the military sent me back all his personal effects. It took me a while to go look through those things, but when I did, I found a book I gave him when he started kindergarten. It was called School Days. I gave him that book and then forgot all about it. But he kept it up. He put pictures of himself in there throughout the years because it went from kindergarten to college. And so I get the opportunity to see him grow all over again, read little notes that he put in there, remember the things that we shared together, his mom and our son. And it's very dear to my heart. It helped me to accept his loss. I'm never going to get over that, but I can deal with it better now because I still have some words from him and wonderful memories.
Well, thank you to your son who served our country. Thank you for being his mom and bringing him into this world to help others. And it's beautiful to the story that you shared, to know that book that you started, that treasure, that was truly a treasure to your son, that he kept it up all these years, and now you have something to reflect. LaWanna, what type of clients do you work with?
Well, baby boomers.
There are lots of them out there.
We're a mixed bunch. We started many of the things that you ladies and men get to enjoy today because we thought we had all the answers and our way was the correct way. I shared with someone, we didn't know the can of worms that we were letting out into the world. We changed things a little too fast, I think. And so as a result, our children missed out on some things that I think they would have benefited from, and therefore their children. And so I work with baby boomers because some of them feel, oh, I'm on top of the world, I can do anything. But then you have others who feel just the opposite. What now? I've raised my children. Some cases, my husband's gone, whether he walked away or the Lord called him home. I'm alone. I don't know what to do next. They're just in limbo. By working with them, I give them a chance to find out what it is that they have forgotten. Because most of us, once we start having a family, women, we forget the dreams we had because the family is first. We'll accept a job that maybe we're not really interested in, but it pays the bills. And so the dream gets pushed back. My dream was to write, and I kept pushing it back and pushing it back, all kinds of excuses. And then one day it suddenly said, I'm still here. I want out.
Yes.
So that's what I do. I work with baby boomers to help them to recognize those dreams, to build their creativity, and as you said, build on their confidence. And there's so many people who want to write. They're writing. You can create your own legacy. I want to leave something for my grandchildren, but not only that, someone else may read what I've written and think, here's my answer. Here's what I needed to know.
That is wonderful. LaWanna, if somebody would like to talk to you about your services, baby boomers, that's your demographics, how can they reach you?
Well, they can either call me, which is 916-888-8089, or they can email me, LaWanna at LaWannasSpeaks.com. And I do have a blog. It's called LaWannasBlog.com. So that's three ways you can reach me. Of course, I'm on Facebook and Instagram, LinkedIn. I'm everywhere.
Now, LaWanna, you are one of the author contributors in the upcoming book, Art of Connection, 365 Days of Inspiration. Tell us, why did you decide that you wanted to be part of this book with over 300 other contributors?
It was the inspiration part. I wanted to leave something for someone that I hopefully will make a difference, even if it's only one person's life. I want to make that difference. I think of people who have made a difference in my life, and I thank them for. There were two people in my childhood who I never thanked. You know, kids, we don't think about things like this. One was a lady we used to call her Mama K. Mama K saw something in me that I didn't. She told my mom one day, because my mother was concerned about me. She said, "That's the only one of your children you will never have to be concerned about. She'll always be able to take care of herself." That, I mean, a little thing, but it meant so much when my mother told me. The other was a minister who felt I needed to be exposed to more than what I was exposed to in growing up in a project. And because of that and reading books, I knew I wanted to be a part of that outside world. And that's what I want to do for someone else. I want to be an inspiration for someone that inspires them to go beyond what they think of themselves.
Wow. Well, LaWanna, I want to personally thank you. You do have so much to inspire in others, and this is a legacy book series that is approved by the Library of Congress. LaWanna, I want to thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for inviting me. I've enjoyed the interview with you.
For those of you that have watched this interview, I have Dr. LaWanna Parker. She is one of the contributing authors in the book, Art of Connection book series that's coming out here in just a few short weeks. To learn more about the book or get your copy, you visit 365daysofInspirationalQuotes.com.